had them there. We got a picture with representative as well, and we're very happy that they were able to do that. So I guess I didn't put them in there, did I?
No,
Their
who
name.
was it?
So Miss Meyer was one, I believe, and then the other one was Hannah Watson, I believe was the other. So anyway, so it was great to have them both there, and it's again, anytime we have them being able to go see how the legislative process works, it's great. And Mr. Fairchild, had shared that they got a chance really to see how a bill goes through the process, and I said, well, yeah, but very quickly compared to what the process would normally take, obviously. So, but it was really great to have Representative Sharp. She gave up one of her meeting times in order to meet with our kids and Kirk as well. So that was really kind of her to be able to do that. And that same day, last week, they had the state officer group was here. We actually had all 6 of them here. What they did was pretty smart. I thought you were limited to 2 state officers per ag advisor. So they had our 2, so we have 4. And then they asked Sheridan's ag teacher to come also. And so because they had dinner here that way, and they had all 6 here at one time, so they were able to get everybody. So we gave our 1A brethren from Powder Valley a Perrydale hat and told him he had to go wear it when he got back to North Powder. And then we talked about Haines Steakhouse a little bit, and just Baker City, et cetera, et cetera. But it was good to be able to talk with the students that night. And it was great they did a lesson the next day with our students as well. So, and then we have the Ag Olympics coming up this week. So if you are, wanting to take part in that and see the kids participate, then we have that coming up on Friday. So again, we do have a piglet, not a goat this year for the kissing, and then chugging a little more milk. Come on over. And that's I tried to sign her up today for it. She hates milk.
I do too.
Yes, she drinks fake milk, but not cow milk. So,
Milk colored water.
Sorry.
All milk alternatives are better than cow's milk.
Oh,
No.
milk's great. Makes your coffee cream.
How you feel about that, Brian?
So about the board chairs.
So
Way to support the egg business.
anyway,
She's
tradition we keep doing. So something that we've done kind of sporadically since we got back from COVID that we did before, and we did do a little bit afterwards too, a couple times, but it was the School-Wide Improvement Day. It gets a little bit stale sometimes, or it had in the past, and so we shortened it up, but we do feel it's important for our kids to have a say. We've changed it up so it is within the classrooms themselves, and that seems to have worked pretty well. The kids felt like they were able to be more open with the staff about what they feel. Our middle school kids, especially like 6th and 7th graders, didn't feel as comfortable sharing with the 8th graders sometimes, and they're still getting their same ideas out there. And we still have the whole brainstorm list that we still are able to generate. And then we take those items, and then when we look at our integrated guidance items, then we're able to take the look at those and see, classes, for example, if they want something for a class, or maybe they're looking at some type of item that may take funding from that. And then we made it earlier because of the funding request, just like we were talking about for math needs or needs we may have for classes. We moved it to February instead of April, which it had been traditionally. That way, in case we have a funding need, we would have that information prior to the funding process. So we did move it up a couple months this year, and the reason for that was simply for funding situation for budget. Yeah.
Smart.
And then next one, finishing up our second week of the new semester. This last week we did, and all our seniors are on track to be part of our commencement ceremony, which is great. They've been, taking the intersenioritis. They've been doing a pretty good job with that. We always have our seniors take first period with Mrs. Richards. That way they get here in the morning. If not, the bulldog is unleashed on them. So it usually is done pretty well to we've had good success in getting our seniors here, usually that last semester with having them in her class. So she does a good job with that, and being their advisor each year helps out a lot with that too. They've done a really good job fundraising recently too, by the way, for their senior trip. They just sold some popcorn and sold.
Good, because I bought
They did
a
well.
lot of popcorn.
Did you?
They did, I don't know off the top of my head, but they did really
significant
well.
amount, yeah.
Mhm.
And so, and that was just one thing. They're gonna do another 50-50 night the next couple nights when we have basketball games. They've been doing all right with that. People have been donating that amount back to them too. And so they are, pushing along, but they're doing pretty well with it. And Mrs. Richards wanted me to make sure that I knew. She said, make sure you know and that the board knows that it's all paid for now. So I said, okay, I will pass that information along. She told me that last week or the week before. I think that was actually even before the popcorn. She told me that.
They've been coming in for every basketball game, trying to get fundraisers in. They're
Yeah.
working really hard.
Excellent. Then we had senior night on Saturday. So we recognize those seniors. We have had the senior banners put up. We're even talking about doing some for all of our seniors next year from the beginning of the school year. Seen it in a couple of other competitors' gyms over the last couple school years. And so Stacy Philippo had talked with me also because I had mentioned it. Was it to you, Vanessa? I mentioned it to, or Stacy? Anyway, I mentioned it. I think it was to Margaret. And then she said something to Stacy because she was aware Stacy had the same idea. So Stacy said she'll work with me this spring. We'll try to schedule some time for photographs in the summer so that way we can get something going. So each kid has their own banner in the gym. We found a place where the banners are pretty inexpensive nowadays. Put them up in the gym so that way they're kind of up all year long. So
I like
kind of a
that.
good deal, yeah. And then we have playoffs. Like I said, tomorrow night the girls are playing Fall City at 6:00. And then on Thursday, the boys are playing against Livingston at 6:00 also. And then lastly, I just want to give a nod to both Mr. G and Ms. Hutchinson for their work with our students of all abilities here at Perrydale. I just want to say thank you and tell both of them that they're going to be missed. So
The boys come on Thursdays home, right?
yeah, both are home. Yeah.
And the girls tomorrow.
At home.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, both of them got home games. Yeah, that's it.
And then are you also doing the elementary? middle school?
Yeah, I can. Yeah, great. So elementary students, middle school, jump rope for heart, unit PE, they were building their endurance, learning about the heart health. The PPC had a bingo night and Christy was at that evening. Fantastic event, enjoyed by all ages.
How many
And
people did you?
I saw the picture. I was actually up at a high school basketball game up in Portland that evening. So I would say they probably had about, from the picture, it looked like about 60, 50. So, it was pretty good. It's definitely gotten a little bit better with attendance. So I'm not sure if, I'm assuming you weren't there, but I wasn't sure. So, and then next one here, Ag Week. We already just talked about that. And kids love that. The little kids really love it usually. The ones always chant and cheer quite loudly. Recess, even more exciting with Thursday dance parties during lunch recess for grades 3 through 5. So they've been a huge hit, offering students a fun way to burn extra energy and enjoy music with their classmates. And then middle school, the end of the second quarter in January, a significant achievement for the middle school students as they wrapped up their first semester of coursework. They went one semester without phones at school. That must have been the achievement right there in itself. Wizard of Oz practice for middle school, high school will be starting soon. Apparently they already have some of their their parts, and they're going to start doing the readings. Mrs. Matthews has her release from her doctor for the 1st. So she actually has some sporadic. She may be able to help out a little bit before that, but it may be the 1st. So she'll be back at that time. So, and then that's it right there. Ooh, long.
I
special
know.
report
Yeah,
right
Thinking
there.
about that.
Well, take it away.
Take a deep
Spread the
breath.
word.
Whew. We're currently serving 36 kids on IEPs. We've got our coffee cart back up and running. We have our manager of the coffee cart is a senior, so she's taking orders. We're working on like purchasing, reaching out, communication, all those things. Still doing adaptive PE. The leadership students are creating lessons and Miss H reviews them, and then they're able to kind of target each individual needs and make sure everyone is included. And then I think we'll talk about it later, but our school psychologist that we were contracting with from Dallas left Dallas. So she has agreed to stay on as our school psychologist for the remainder of the year. And then we had our pre-local service plan meeting with WESD actually today. So they just kind of went over what we've purchased last year, what we've used so far, and what they're kind of forecasting as us needing for next year for students. Stan's favorite meeting.
Yeah. Thank you. Facility report. Any questions or comments about that? Facilities, anything you want to share with?
No, not really. I don't know if any of you have specific questions or not. Troy just, we had quite a bit of stuff still out in the play shed in one area. They've been working on getting all that out of there. We still had some leftover items from the construction project that we had that we didn't want to get rid of because they still have value. So, you know, a lot of carpet, enough to do my office there. We have enough to do all that. Ceiling tiles, some extra, the gray tiles that are for the gym, and we don't really need those. I don't know if we'll ever really need the extras, but we paid for them, so we didn't want to just get rid of all those things or let the company take them and then resell them to somebody else. So figured if we paid for them, we're going to keep them or sell them ourselves. So we have some of those items. Those are in my office right now for those items. The other items they got rid of. So that way the baseball team and the softball teams can utilize those during spring practices if at the facility that is. And then especially on rainy days, you know, that's going to come in handy. So they did a good job with that. So appreciate that. And even during the last couple of days when we had, you know, the ice and some snow, they were out here still working during those, you know, days where other people were able to sleep in a little bit or woke up to go to work, but then slept in after that or whatever. So appreciate that.
Move to item B, spotlight and action.
Sure. So a couple things this time. We had some students that don't always participate in some of our FFA activities. We do participate in our district competition with beginning job interviews or just job interviews and public speaking. And so, one of the students was Reese Cornthwaite, and she participated. She's a freshman, and she participated in both the beginning job interview and beginning public speaking. And she got first in districts for beginning job interview and second in beginning public speaking. So
wow.
yeah, really quite the double right there to get both of those. So excellent job by her. Ellie Meyer, who's definitely participated in quite a bit of stuff though, but she did really well for us again. And she did second in advanced job interview and third in advanced public speaking districts as well. So both of them did really well, and Mr. Fairchild took them to that event. I think it was on the 23rd of January. And then our Perrydale FFA volleyball team took first place in districts as well. So we beat up on those 3A schools and even larger. And Perrydale is district champ in that as well. I don't know if we really get a blue banner for that though, but we'll take the win either way. So, but I just wanted to recognize them. And then also we got news today, or actually Friday, but I got the news today that we were able to get the Ag West Farm Credit Bureau. I keep saying their name lately, but we got a $4,500 grant from them today towards a trailer and or farm pickup truck for an ag program that they're trying to raise money for and save. So they have about, I think she said about $9,000 so far between some money that they have saved and some grant money and then the $4,500 that they had today.
So they want to get a truck and a trailer
Yeah, that's
for
what
ag
for ag,
purposes.
for some of the, different projects or, when they do help do some stuff for Food for All or things like that, where they have to go run and make a load, drop off a load or things like that. So on the trailer.
And she has more grants she's working on, so.
Yeah, there's a couple other big ones. So it's great. But again, we had those folks out here working with our young kids during Food for All, and they were really impressed. And it was nice that they reached out to her and said, "Hey, we want to give you a letter of support for this grant if you're interested." So the maximum amount, I believe, is $5,000. So we got $4,500. It's pretty great. So just want to say hats off. That's another one that McKenna was able to secure. So it was really great. And then the other one is Mr. Ferguson's up to it again. So with some of his field trips and hands-on learning, which is great. We love that with science. And so he's just finished up a tour of the prison over in Sheridan. So they went and looked at some of their forensic science, their lab that they have over there, their little room and stuff that they work on over there. Met with the lady that does their investigations there. And then they took a tour with some of the other employees there. So Jeremy Philable, whose wife works in our office, Jeremy did some flashbangs for him and was excited about that. He works in the armory there. So he was happy to show them some of the other items there. But it was really great. Kids had a wonderful time. Staff enjoyed it that went. And Mr. Ferguson's hoping to do a little different trip, focusing on some other items in the spring. And they, Prison RU wrote back and said that they'd be interested. I think many of you probably already know this, but we have quite a few people associated with Peridot working out there. And so it's really great that some of our-
graduates.
Yes, Peridot graduates, yeah. So it's great for some of our kids to see that there's other Peridot folks out there working there, and that's a good opportunity for him. It's a good career opportunity for him as well. And then he's planning a trip, not as exciting maybe as the one to Houston, but it's I'm trying to work with them on paring it down a little bit. But it's basically Eastern Oregon with a little bit of Western Oregon, a little bit of Boise. So we'd be coming to you folks about that when he for sure nails that down. So
What's it about?
it's a science-related trip for, so with Boise State, I believe it was physical science and physics. And then for Bonneville, it was, physics with the dam. And then I'm sure they'll see the fish hatchery. So biology right there for that part. And then they actually had some social studies. They were going to actually go down by through Madras, so Warm Springs, so that they would host them for something at the little cultural center they have right there, and then next to the casino they have there. And then he's even, like I said, talking about down by the craters in Diamond Craters, and then the round barn that they have down there. And then having dinner there. We talked with people over at the ranch there, the ranch house, the hotel there in Diamond, and having a barbecue dinner there. And then there's a lot of things that he's doing, but it's basically hitting on every science related thing you can think of as far as biology, physical science, physics, chemistry. So he's trying to really think about hitting a lot of the different subject areas and trying to just get kids to learn, really. Because I said, so there's this, but that's not really science related. It's like, if they're learning, that's fine. We're going to do a lot of science stuff already. If they're learning, I'm good with that. I'm like, okay, here's a couple other things you may want to do too. So listening, but yeah, try to get them to cut down on the number of hours in the bus a little bit. So those bus seats are new, but they're not as comfortable as maybe one thinks probably. So, but anyway, I appreciate the efforts of all of our staff, and they go above and beyond and to do some of that type of learning, and whether it's doing some stuff outside with FFA and getting the kids to go do the public speaking, or to go do these field trips. Kids remember those things, and getting to go see the prison, and even the fact that they had 6 security guards with them basically the whole time. They had their own security staff, like they were Taylor Swift or something too. So remember that stuff. So pretty cool.
I know we're already on Spotlight on Education, but can I ask one quick question about facilities?
Yeah.
Is it okay, Amber? Of course. The automation.
Yeah.
System, it sounds like Troy's interested.
Yeah.
What's the cost?
Well, it costs us $0 because it's done through the grant. So it's through the Energy Trust of Oregon
Right.
and the other grants through Oregon. So it wouldn't cost us anything. So, and we haven't agreed to anything. So whatever they come up with comes to the board.
Okay.
So, yeah, no, we would not, they know that everything has to go to the board. In fact, they're gonna have to come present to you guys. So,
Okay.
yeah, I'll warn them ahead of time. So,
Okay.
but I think it's important for them to make sure that they come and do that too. If they want to do business, they can come down. Because they're gonna obviously get paid through the grants and all that stuff. But
Right.
if it saves us money and it's not gonna eat away at our money, then it's something to be interested in. It makes sense. But if it's something that is gonna be something up front, and I'm gonna be more skeptical of it, et cetera. So.
Okay.
Yeah, but definitely, I'll let them. I wanted to make sure I told you about it because they're supposed to have this Energy Trust does give it more credence for me. You can ask them; they've been very persistent. Micah is the younger gentleman, and he's been here quite a bit and working with other districts. They work with Klamath County School District, and I always get the 2 school districts mixed up because it's Klamath County and then it's Klamath City. So there's the 2, but I believe it's Klamath County is the one they worked with. And then the one I gave you is an example of that. When I told him that wasn't actually their project, that's what Energy Trust does. But I wanted you to see they work with other companies that do things like that. I told Jason, who's the owner of the company, about that I had sent that, and he said, "Could you shoot me that Energy Trust email because I want to make sure I could do something like that for our clients as well, because I'm curious to see what they wrote." So I shot him that email. He sent me that email today, actually. So I shot it back to him already. So that way he's interested in it too. But yeah, definitely I would make sure that they come and talk to you folks, and then you guys would have the final sign off on yay or nay.
Sorry for interrupting.
Okay, move to item C, new hires and resignations.
So resignations here. So again, temporary teacher with Audrey Fashing. She was only here for about a month. Christy's not here this evening, but Christy had worked with her. Definitely, she didn't feel like it was a good fit. Yeah, I'm just gonna leave it at that at this point, but I have more information I can definitely share if you need to. But she did resign last week, or week and a half ago, I guess it was. And then Mrs. Paya is the one, as I told you in the email, she's the one that's going to be taking over after that, or has been taken over, and she'll be with them for the rest of the year. We want some stability in there after having our teacher that was there at the beginning of the year, and then having this teacher. We want to make sure that Mrs. Paya is the third and final teacher for the school year. And then Mrs. Hutchinson gave a resignation. Not sure what her final destination may be as far as teaching is concerned, or if that's going to continue to be the career path. And then Mr. G is just retiring. I know he is. It's fishing. So, and fishing and more fishing. So,
We're not surprised.
Yeah, those are all resignations. And then Trey Tremblay, head baseball coach, new hire. Even though he was there before, because we didn't have baseball last year, that's why we went ahead and did the interview process again. And then DJ is the middle school assistant. High school assistant, thank you. And he's actually been working as the high school assistant coach and head coach at Sheridan for about 7 years now. So he had worked as the assistant for 6 years and was the head coach for a year as well, but has been working here as an assistant. So this is definitely a lot easier when you're working in the same building you're coaching. And then Brad Ford, high school track coach, he's been working as the assistant track coach. Actually has a lot of energy for track and a lot of interest in it. Pretty excited about the opportunity to be a track coach. I didn't realize how much passion he had for it compared with some of the other sports that he's talked about in the past. But even last year when he was the assistant, just listening to him, talk about just the different aspects of it was good. And let me know that if we ended up having to make a move that he may have some interest in the head job. And sure enough, he did and ended up getting the job there. So those are the resignations and new hires.
Thank you. We'll move to item D, potential energy savings project.
Yeah, so we just talked about it. Again, just information at this point, just letting you know that Energy Trust would have somebody come over and do an evaluation to see if it's definitely worth it. The money that we're hearing, which they say is conservative, it's about 10,000 in excess of 10,000 a year. But until I have Energy Trust telling me that, I try to be grounded in what my expectation would really be. And the company knows this, and they say that, hey, we feel like having Energy Trust backing makes a big difference, because don't just believe us, believe somebody you've worked with in the past, or a lot of schools have worked with, and hopefully a lot of people in the state of Oregon have worked with Energy Trust. And I do feel like that gives it a little bit more credence. And then, again, it's a 2-day evaluation just to look at the verified estimated cost savings, because as a extension of the state of Oregon, basically they're hired on, then Energy Trust is they have to make sure that grant money is going to the appropriate place. So if it's not going to be worth it and it's not going to be saving money, they're not going to put their money towards it. So they want to make sure it's worth the money, bang for the buck. And then Energy Trust sent out that email a couple of weeks ago. So as we get these, if we get the Energy Trust guys in here over the next 2 weeks, then once we get the assessment, I'm hoping that they'll have an assessment back by next meeting in a month. So I guess 4 weeks from today or yesterday.
It would be really important to me to see the costs
Yep.
and what the grant actually is.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yep, we would have all that for you, definitely.
All right, we'll move to item 5, consent agenda.
I'll move to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion passes unanimously. Move to item 6, item for the board, psychological services update.
So I received a phone call, or actually Aaron came and gave me a heads up that there may be some movement at the Dallas School District with one of their 2 psychologists. And when I then got a phone call from the superintendent at Dallas School District, and he had let me know that even though we have a contract with them, that they weren't going to be able to fulfill it because that person had left the district. So he just said, we just don't have enough staffing in order to do it. So I just wanted to make you aware. And I said, yeah, Aaron had told us that. And it sounded like Allie had talked with Aaron and said that if the board wanted to, that we could do it by the hour basis, just like we were currently doing with Dallas, that she was still open to that and willing to do that. So Aaron had suggested that she felt that was a good idea. And Christy and I felt the same way, especially if the rate is the same. So the rate would not go up. It would still be the same person, so that consistency would be there with our staff. And I guess she doesn't really work with students per se on a, like a counselor type role. It's more doing evaluations for any type of like preparing for evaluations for IEPs, et cetera, or if they have to do some type of observation for a student. And if you want to add stuff, feel free to do so as well. But so having that continuity was good. The cost was the same, and we would just have to do a personal services contract. We've done that in the past with Lowell when he was here. It seemed to work for how many years did we have Lowell?
I think I was just here for 2.
2 years. Okay.
And then we went to WESD for a couple years, and that didn't work out so well. Then we started contracting with Dallas.
And the relationship with Dallas has worked really well. We're very, grateful that we were able to have that. But it seems like it's, at least for the remainder of this year, isn't going to work out according to them. And so we had to find alternate services, and the ESD doesn't really have stuff available. So we have Allie here, same person, same amount, and willing to work with us still. And Aaron has supported that as well. And Aaron, did you want to join it or chime in or not?
No, there's just a huge shortage of school psychologists. So I kind of feel like this is it's an opportunity because Dallas now is contracting through an outside source, and she said they're just bleeding money with online school sites doing their evaluations. So I think we have a pretty good opportunity here if we choose to go in this direction.
I think the rate was about 50% more, was it not?
Yeah, not twice or half, double.
Half double. One of those numbers?
Well,
One of those things.
yeah.
Thought, yeah,
A lot.
A lot.
the current rate is 80. I think it was about 120. I thought I heard you say, but maybe I'm mistaken on that. So, but I know it was significantly more. And I remember you saying the bleeding money.
Yeah.
So, there.
That's fine. It's not in my way.
So what do you need from us then?
Well, we just need board action that we're okay to do a personal services contract with Allie Taylor.
But you don't have a contract for us to look at.
No, because we wouldn't have it drafted up unless you guys approved that we could work with Allie. I mean, we have this one that we have, I can send it all, print it off right now, we can come back to it. I have the one that we had from Lowell. We do have that one, and we actually have it from her. She has it, she signed
signed
if we
one,
decided
you
to
just
go
need-
forward with
yeah.
that. So if that's the one you wanted and you folks want that contract, we can go do that one. It was just one from Lowell. We just didn't know if you wanted that one. Or if you wanted to mull it over first, or if there's any other restrictions you wanted to put or a different dollar amount. So we didn't want to say, yeah, we're doing that contract because we didn't know if that's, what parameters you folks may want.
So this is, so you're saying that Allie's rate is,
The same as it was before.
As we were paying Dallas.
okay,
So we were contracting, I think we did, I don't remember how many hours we did with Dallas, but she was just like a flat rate, and then you get a bill from Dallas, and we looked that over, and it's comparable, it's the same rate, so. Instead of our check going to Dallas School District, we go to her personally.
And if you want, we can table this. I can come back to it here in a minute, and then that way you folks can look it over. And if you want to approve it, then we can just get that done.
I think it would be good to see.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do we want to take a break and I can just go print that off then?
Let's do that.
I'll go do that. It's the same one you gave me, right?
I got the one that she, oh, wait, hold on.
I believe I have it on email. If not, you can just send it.
Yeah, I'm looking for it.
You gone?
What's up?
Is Katie gone?
She had a work conference tonight. She said she'd call in if we needed somebody.
Oh,
But like, no, we've got 4, I think we're okay.
Did we have a certain dollar amount, I wonder, on our Dallas contract, or did we have hours? Did we have anything specific on our contract with Dallas?
Let's see, I can find the Dallas one also, but my phone is not cooperating.
Just from a budget perspective.
We were paying Dallas 80 an hour plus mileage. So. Lowell, a few years ago, we were paying 70.
Oh, I was thinking of 75. My brain's not too far off, huh?
No. And that was just a private, which this is too, but it's not through,
So Allie's not leaving the area, she's staying local, she's just opening her own practice.
yeah.
Okay.
And I don't know if, she's got 2 young kids. Her whole family's here, like she's staying. I don't know if she'll be wanting to do this next year, but for now, I can't find,
I got it.
oh, yeah. Or I can't send it. So this would probably, it could be a long-term solution, but also could just be to get us through the end of the year. And she's like in the middle of some of her evaluations.
So that would just be a draft again. It was just something that was based off of Lowell's, and then Aaron had just switched it up from some of the stuff, but we didn't know if you folks would want to switch anything on there.
Was on the Dallas contract, did we have any cap on hours or dollar amount?
I think I remember talking to the special ed director a couple years ago when we started this, and we were at 100 and we had to increase it.
100 hours.
100 hours, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's the same.
And that would just vary. I mean, they just have to, we would know what we're doing each month, Aaron does, because how many evaluations are we doing? So, and that would allow us to kind of know where we are. So 100 hours obviously would give us a good idea of, $8,000. Then if we're getting psych services for $8,000, we're doing pretty well. So
I'd like to make a motion to approve the personal service retainer for Allie Taylor.
I'll say it.
It's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion passes unanimously. We'll move to bids for the gates and the doors.
So we had 2 companies bid. I did put on there the others that were contacted and win by Troy. He was the one who took the lead on that. And the 2 that did end up bidding it were the 2 from McMinnville there.
Do you think it's a handout? Are you
Was that
looking for
okay?
They're together, front back.
Yeah, I got it right here. Yeah, thank you. So the first one you see there was A&E. That submitted the proposal. That was our most recent one that we got. They came and looked at it. I believe it was actually in January. I think the proposal was actually sent on the 5th. And then that amount for That part of the project was $8,300. And that one was, we were trying to make it pretty apples to apples, even though, you know, like they said in apples to apples compassion costs there. Trying to make it the same, and that's why they had talked about that. Troy and I both walked with them that day when they were here to help answer any questions they may have. You know, a little history there. The gentleman from A&E that was there, the John guy, has been around Perrydale quite a bit back in the day. He was the owner, and so he had, you know, pretty good knowledge of where things were in the building, et cetera, from before. So he was able to at least kind of go back to what it used to be like. And he knows obviously things have changed quite a bit. He was able to remember where some of the wiring was, et cetera. So, and then the other proposal is from Innova, who we currently work with. Again, this is access control. The idea again is to add a gate that's on a control system like we have for our office or the other doors, where you use the key fob, or it can be on a timer system like we had, like have been requested. So we would again, both programs would do that and electrify the gates. And then also give access control to both of the elementary doors as well. So those were not part of the scope of the construction project. You'll see empty holes next to the doors right there. And we just said we would do those later when we do additional projects. And so if we have them out here now doing the one gate, we might as well have them out here to do the other two doors.
This last page is who Troy.
That's who
reached out
Troy
to
reached
for
out
bids.
to. And then what I did, I mean, love Troy and his handwriting, but it was hard for me to read a little bit. So I figured that I would try to make it a little easier. So I printed off that list of the ones of where the other proposals were solicited, but no bid was given from those other three companies.
Salem Fire does that stuff?
Yeah, so I guess they had, well,
No, I think it's a company called Salem Fire and Alarm or something like that.
Oh, it's not the ones that do the fire extinguishers?
I don't know.
yeah, so contacted Monday, project person contact,
Yeah,
set up a site walk, called back and spoke with Megan again. Said that their project manager said that the Avignon system is proprietary and they're not authorized or insured to work with our system. So that's what that person had said. So that was a Salem Fire. And again, it may be a little bit, may have an alarm or something like that after it.
What do you want?
Well, I know we've had some success with A&E in the past. I think that, I know that there was some disagreement with the fire marshal and A&E at that time in the library. That was frustrating with some of our former board members and maybe some existing board members, but it's been a
There's
while.
only me here at the table.
We're on
I'm not
public
frustrated
camera there.
with them.
Well, I'm not saying you were, I didn't know, I said. But I also know that we've been working with Innova. We've gotten good service. We're not in love with the software with the camera system because it's hard to rewind and fast forward. So we're going to try to work with a software company, see if we can get a training from them. We were talking about that today. It's not the cameras, it's just the fast forward and rewind. Christy spends a lot of time on that camera. And so trying to,
Part of the training when they do that.
they do, but it's not, especially when you use it on your phone to toggle it back and forth, really difficult and on the PC. Yeah, so it's just really difficult. So
I think it's like they install the cameras, but they're not in charge of the software. It's like that
it's just
actually,
another vendor.
yeah. And so they don't have a lot of information about how to use the software they just install. So there's like a third party that we have to go get the information from.
So we're going to, we talked about it today. We're going to call them tomorrow and see if we're going to do it. So we have utilized Innova for the other things they've done our other key fobs, and that's what we're looking here, not the cameras. We're talking about the key fobs and the gates, and our other gates and key fobs have been through them. So I think that's all one system. Again, A&E or Innova could probably do it. I think having one stop shopping center makes sense to go with Innova, but at the same time, I would work fine with A&E, and I'd be happy with either one.
What's the whole A&E one where the servers do and all that on their quote? Says the servers due for factory major upgrade,
Mhm.
Well,
which is gonna cost a lot.
yeah, so with them, they were talking about their server part. They didn't give us other items that they would share, like, oh, here's what you would use instead. They just said, oh, you would have to get an upgrade. Eventually, they didn't say you had to get it now, but hey, you're gonna have to get this upgrade eventually for this. So what does that look like and why? We didn't get into that day too much because
Okay.
that was
Yeah, you're talking about.
kind of outside of that, yeah.
In 10 years or
Yeah, right.
in the future.
Yeah, exactly. And so I think that Innova again is cleaner for us at this point to continue to work with them. Especially for the access controls.
I was gonna ask you.
We do have,
In the staff room, is that the one you're talking about?
well, the one for the gate and the one for the two doors there, but I'm saying the ones for the buildings and like going into the middle school and going into the, high school area, we've been utilizing them. And we have a gentleman who is a father of one of our students that can come out here quite a bit and help us. He's a tech for them. So we have pretty good access to items. And when we've had issues during plays, he's been here to fix things like with our, alarms or anything like that. He's been here to help out with things like that. So to have that extra help has been nice. I don't know, what are your thoughts, Cindy and Vanessa? Cindy, you've been working in the office quite a while, so.
See, how's the saying gone? It's not broke, don't fix it.
Yeah.
Try not to
Excited.
copy
Okay.
yours once.
Yes.
So I think that we're happy with Innova's service. I mean, they're from their text to the office, and if they don't get it right the first time, they come back out and work on it until it's working properly. And I think we haven't had any issues with that. So. And they didn't put crazy on there. Crazy.
Yeah, they put crazy on
their bid.
Yeah, that's
Crazy.
One of the other things I will say too is that they helped with the actual door and some of the in the office when we were installing that door. They actually came and helped worked on and did some of the work on that, which was outside their scope and didn't charge us for some of that. They just came to help out. It was Randy again. I think some of that was, hey, I'm a dad here, so let me help out type of a deal. But he was working at the time. But I thought that was good too. And that had to do with access controls because it's right there.
Right.
And they've been working with all the systems and know where all of our stuff, all of our lines lead to. Because they did all the install stuff with our
so for cameras,
Construction
and stuff
projects.
like that.
cameras, and the doors too.
Do we have cameras on the playground?
Yeah.
We do, right?
I'm okay with Innova. How do you guys feel?
I'm great with it. You guys are the ones that have to work with them every day. If you have no issues, then that was my
I would just be
question.
worried to bring in another company when we're already using one for some things, and then like, are they gonna mesh well? Like whatever they're going to come in and do. I just, you don't know when you start putting those things together. So
I also got a just on my brief interaction with the first company, I think the friendliness and willingness to help is going to be better for Manova, in my personal opinion. So,
I move to approve the bid for Anova for $8,132.11.
A second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion passes unanimously. Right, we'll move to resolution 2502, intent to extend. Oh, sorry, did I skip over? Yeah, local service plan resolution, sorry, I almost missed that one. Like, there's one more, hold on.
Yeah, exactly. So this is just a yearly thing that's saying that this is what services they're going to offer as a VSD. I don't know, packet, my goodness. It's like, I thought it was at the end. So this is going to be, the items that they have for children with special needs, technology supports, school improvement services, administrative and support services for districts. This is what, ESD uses non-LSP funds, no cost to districts, and they show all the other items that they have with attendance services, homeschool registration, and the other items that they have there. And then crisis response team, and then over on the other one, the second page just talks a little bit more about those items. And it just says, certifies that the local service plan is hereby adopted. Doesn't mean we have to utilize all of those. Many of these we don't utilize. For example, for some of the programs with children with special needs, we don't have anybody that's receiving some of the hearing services right now. So today when we had this pre-LSP meeting, they suggested we don't have any services that we purchased for this coming year at the actual LSP meeting because we don't have any students at this point that need that. Now, if we have a student move into our district that has that, that would obviously change and we'd have to amend that. So we can always amend those things, but this is just what services they're going to offer for this coming year.
There isn't a resolution number on it. 2503?
What?
So that's the one I saw somewhere else. Where was that?
The other one, no, the next one is 2502.
I move that we approve Willamette Education Service District Local Service Plan for 25-27, Resolution 25-03.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Resolution 2502, intent to extend certified contracts.
this one is already labeled the 2502, so that's the next
Do
one.
you want me to have one that you're gonna sign for that service plan, by the way? No, for the service plan, I just have to make sure. You already did, okay, good, perfect. And then I know Vanessa had said that we have to make sure we get that back to them. They gave on the local service plan,
Mhm.
we have to make sure we send that back to them tomorrow. Thank you. I have a meeting there on Thursday, I just wanna make sure that's done tomorrow, that way I don't have to do the walk of shame. Appreciate that. So talks about whereas board action is required on extension, non-extension for all licensed staff prior to March 15th, as per Oregon Revised Statutes 342, accountability for school for the 21st century. Be resolved that Perrydale School Board takes the following action. Number one, the district administrator recommends the following be granted contract status for the 2025 through 2026 and 2026-2027 school years. Lindy Arthur, Morgan Crawford, Dean Dieters, Brock Ferguson, Brad Ford, Emma Gaylord, Alex Graber, McKenna Hanson Johnson, Brittany Matthews, Misty Matthews, Tracy Paya, Tabitha Richards, Ellie Solom, Julia Wilson, and Jill Wood. Number two, the district administrator recommends the following be placed on the third-year probationary status: Chandler Pipitone, Number 3, the district administrator recommends the following be placed on second-year probationary status: Kirk Fairchild and Brett Wood. And number 4, the district administrator recommends the following be placed on first-year probationary status: the vacant PE teacher, the vacant second grade position, and the vacant special education teacher position.
I move to approve the resolution to extend certified contracts resolution 25-02.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Any further discussion?
I would like to request that next year's extension for the certified contracts have their name with their position.
Okay,
I saw that on another school board and I liked it.
that works. I'm writing it down right now.
And I'm gonna go tomorrow, I'm gonna add that on there so that when I go and pull this up next year to see what I did, then I already
You
have
look
it on there.
sharp. You just look sharp.
Yeah.
No, that would look good. Good idea.
Okay, so all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion passes unanimously, and I'll send this one for you.
Thank you.
Patron input, and there is none.
Did you check online? Okay,
We did have someone watching earlier, but not right now.
but no input. right?
No.
So we'll move into executive session under ORS 192.6602D to conduct deliberations with person designated by the governing body to carry on labor negotiations, and ORS 192.6602I to review and evaluate the employee-related performance of the chief executive officer of any public body, a public officer, employee, or staff member who does not request an open hearing. So we'll go into that at 8:00 exactly.